Hello, it's Dr. Alan Yim. In this video, I'm going to show you how to write the chord symbols for the Italian, German, and French sixth chords. The Italian and German are really easy. So I have this from the last video. Let's take a look at this. The flat six really acts as sort of the root of this chord. Now, you shouldn't think of the augmented sixth chord as a regular seventh chord or triad, even though it sort of sounds like one, because of the way it resolves. It's more of the important part of the augmented sixth chords really is the flat six and the sharp four. You can add other notes to this, even ones that are not in the Italian, German, and French, and it will still be an augmented sixth chord as long as the sharp 4 goes up to 5 and the flat 6 moves down to 5, and I mean the 5th degree of the scale, but also the 5 chord. So it's really that motion, those half steps that identify it as an augmented sixth chord. But that said, take a look at the Italian 6 that I have here. If I just put E flat with a 7, that's basically what that chord is. It is missing part of the chord. It's E flat, G, the 5th, the B flat is missing. And notice that the C sharp is just a respelling of D flat. So if I were to spell this as an E flat 7, E flat, G, B flat, and D flat would be the chord. In the case of the Italian, there is no 5th, but I don't need to write that because we know that we don't need the 5th for a dominant 7th chord. The German 6th is just a plain old E flat 7, has all parts of the chord. But look at the spelling. So we know this is a respelling here, right? E flat, G, B flat, D flat. So again, it's enharmonically spelled. Now the French 6th is the only one that gets a little bit maybe confusing. I recommend that you call this an E flat 7 flat 5. And you may say, well, there's nothing confusing about that because that totally makes sense. The 5th of the chord is B flat. It's not exactly spelled as a flat 5. It's spelled as, well, in the key of E flat, this is spelled as 4. Okay, so we're not going to, sharp 4. We're going to put this as the flat 5. Okay, it's enharmonically spelled. So A is actually the sharp 4 in E flat, but it's the same thing as flat 5, which is B double flat. And you may leave it at that. So if you, the confusing thing is if you're looking at this chord, the way it's spelled, you could interpret it in another way. So look at the notes of this French 6th. And it's obvious only now because I'm saying it to you, and you've already seen it as E flat 7 twice before. But if you look at the A that I circled, A, C sharp, E flat, G, that looks like an A7 chord with a flat 5. And in fact, it's even more clear because the spelling starts out with A, C sharp, and an E. So it looks how you expect. It's not enharmonically spelled at all. It's, again, A, C sharp, E flat, G. So this is actually spelled as you would expect. And it would be over E flat. So the French 6 is invertible because it has two augmented fourths in the chord. So what am I talking about here? I know that sounds a little confusing, but the G to the C sharp and this E flat to the A. Because the interval of an augmented fourth, when you invert it, stays the same. Right? The notes stay the same when you invert it, and we have two of those. When you invert this chord, so if I invert it and I take the E flat and put it on top, or I put the G, it's going to remain the same no matter how you invert it. The notes, or no matter how, when you invert the chord, the notes stay the same. So we have this other spelling here. I don't know if I said that clearly, but this one here, as you can see, is a little bit more challenging to read. So even though this one that I'm going to circle in green, even though it's a little bit harder, whoops, I'm going to circle this in green, even though that's a little bit harder to see or hard to find, this is the one I think maybe is preferable to use, because you don't have to read A7 flat 5 over E flat, you just simply read E flat 7 flat 5. So I would use this one, and the way to think of it is the flat sixth is the root. Now again, I'm just going to put the root in quotations because it's not really a root, but that's what we're going to use for the chord symbol. Okay, that's it for this video. Just remember, the flat sixth is the root of what is a seventh chord, a dominant seventh quality chord. In the next video, I'll show you how to resolve these three. Thanks for watching.